Hi and welcome. If you love miniatures, if you enjoy paper craft, or if you simply like those quiet moments when your hands are busy and your mind can finally slow down, you're in the right place. Today we're going to build this miniature cabinet together, slowly, step by step, without rushing anywhere. So make yourself comfortable, maybe bring a cup of tea or coffee, and let's spend this time creating something small, but meaningful. In this set, this cabinet is not alone. There's also a narrow version of the cabinet, a writing desk, and a small storage cabinet. And you can find those in other videos on the channel if you'd like to build a full miniature interior that feels complete and cohesive. For this project, you'll need just a few simple materials. A 4 paper, ideally with a density between 160 and 200 GSM. I personally use 160. It's easier to fold and still holds its shape well. You'll also need scissors, glue. I use silicone-based glue, but honestly, any glue that works well with paper will do. Something to score your fold lines, like an awl or a similar tool. And sometimes tweezers can be helpful for smaller details, but they're optional. Nothing complicated, just simple tools, and your attention. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Because in a world where everything is fast, loud, and constantly pulling your attention back to the screen, this is something different. Here you slow down. You focus on small movements, on folding a line carefully, on aligning an edge, on holding a piece in place for a few seconds while the glue sets. And without even noticing it, your thoughts get quieter. This is why miniature crafting feels so satisfying. It's not just about the result. It's about the process. About creating something real with your hands. Something you can actually hold, place somewhere, and come back to later. You can use this cabinet in a dollhouse, in a miniature workspace, as part of a cozy room scene, or even just as a decorative piece on a shelf. Add a few tiny books, a folded fabric, maybe a small lamp, and suddenly it feels like a story. As we move into the assembly, I want to point out one small but important detail about the door latch. In this model, I use a paper latch, and I know it might sound fragile at first, but there's a simple trick. I lightly coat the latch with glue. After it dries, it becomes noticeably firmer, and you can actually open and close the door multiple times without it losing its shape too quickly. Of course, there are other options. You could use tiny magnets, or small pieces of Velcro. But not everyone has those materials on hand. And one of my goals with these designs is to keep everything as accessible as possible. Paper, glue, a bit of patience, and you can build the entire piece. So I chose the paper latch as the most universal solution. But feel free to adapt it. Your version can always be a little different. That's part of the fun. Another small detail to keep in mind, especially with darker textures like this one. If you're using white paper, you might notice that the fold lines reveal light edges. And depending on your preference, this can either be a small imperfection or a beautiful detail. Some people actually like it. It gives a slightly worn patina effect. But if you prefer a cleaner look, you can always touch up those edges with paint, or even a colored pencil that matches the texture. It takes just a few seconds, but it can really elevate the final result. As you continue assembling, try not to rush ahead. Let each piece find its place. Sometimes it's tempting to speed up, especially when everything starts to come together. But this is the part where slowing down matters the most. Align your edges. Check your angles. Give the glue time to set. And if something feels slightly off, you can always adjust it. Miniatures are surprisingly forgiving. And you might notice something interesting as you go. At some point, you stop thinking about the steps. You're no longer following instructions. You're just making, folding, pressing, placing, holding. And that's usually the moment when the process becomes truly relaxing. This cabinet, with its simple shape and warm character, is a perfect piece to build when you want something detailed, but not overwhelming. It has just enough elements to keep you engaged, without feeling too complex. And when it's finished, it becomes part of something bigger, a small world, built piece by piece. So take your time here. Enjoy the rhythm of it. Let your hands do the work, and let your mind rest a little. And as we continue assembling, just stay with the process. No rush, no pressure. Just one small piece at a time.